Hello chaps, I hope you're well. It's another fine day here in Gloucestershire, very sunny, very spring-like, very good. Today we are going to be looking at something rather unusual.
I say.
So then chaps, I know I said I was going to show you something that was a bit unusual, but actually what I'm going to show you is very ordinary and very unusual at exactly the same time, which should make good viewing for a YouTube video. Now what I'm going to be reviewing today is this, and it's, well, it's a pen. The cleverer ones of you may have spotted that already. So this pen is obviously, looks very ordinary, but actually what it is also a USB flash drive, which is very exciting. Well, it's a bit exciting, it's not overly exciting. We've seen, obviously, USB sticks come in all sorts of shapes and sizes these days, but this one is in a pen. It has a 8GB flash drive in this bit, and a pen here. So not only can you write manually, but you can save your digital handwriting too, if that's a thing. But also, just to make things a little bit more exciting, we have an added feature with this pen, and the best way of me demonstrating its capability would be to do this. Hello chaps, how are you? Shall we do something a bit covert and a bit, well, James Bondy? Right then chaps, no word of a lie, this is the HD Spy pen from a company called Thumbs Up, which is probably the most uncool spy thing I've ever heard. Thumbs Up. When was the last time you saw James Bond go like this at the end of a film? Yes, the HD Spy pen, which I bought from Maplin. Now Maplin is an electronics store here in the UK. I think there's an equivalent in the US. So yes, the HD Spy pen. Now it's a pretty plain box. It says it takes photo and videos, has 8GB memory and shoots 720p HD recording. I was a bit sceptical about 720p because whenever things that are this small say they shoot HD, it's always a bit of a lie, but we'll see. The HD Spy pen. Secretly capture HD video, voice recordings or images. There we are. So all this sounds very good, doesn't it? Very exciting. Let's see if you can see that a bit better. There we are. So yes, it says on the back here, the HD Spy pen with concealed camera records high definition video and audio, takes photographs, easy to operate, supports micro SD memory up to 32 gig, which is good to know. The included micro SD is 8GB, so it's removable and expandable, which is good. Rechargeable via USB cable, which was included. Indeed it was. So let's open it up. And I've obviously already opened it to film that little bit I just showed you. But this is the pen itself. So that's a bit that you've seen already. It has a little sticker on the back which you can take off. Now what I will show you a bit later on close up is the sort of business end at the top here. So you take this crap out. And then all we had inside was the cable, which is here, which I've already taken out. So that's that, and these instructions. So that was the only other thing really, and pretty basic instructions they are too. But then it's all pretty self-explanatory. That's my receipt from Maplin, which I will take out. And yes, the one thing that everybody wants is a thumbs up sticker. Who wouldn't want to stick that to their, you know, secret suit or whatever? I can't imagine anybody actually wanting this sticker for anything. In fact, let's do this with it. That's better. That's what we think of you, sticker. So there we are. That's it. So essentially what it does is it films and records, obviously, and the way it does that is using this button at the top. So the pen itself is a twisty, and the button up here is what controls the camera and the photo taking capability. So what you do is you press the button, or rather hold it down for a few seconds until a green light flashes on the back. When it's on solidly, the camera is on. then you hold it down again for a few seconds and it will start to record. The green light will flash, and you do the same again to stop it, and you hold it down to turn it off, and essentially that's it. When the pen is on, which is an unusual phrase, when the pen is turned on, you hold it down very briefly and it will take a still, which is also, well, I believe the still is 1280 and the video is 720 at 30 frames a second, but I'm not sure of that, so we'll have a look at that afterwards. So what I thought we would do is take this pen on a little journey, and I'm going to be as covert as possible, and I think I'll go to the shop and do what all spies do and buy some milk and bread. Let's do that. Okay chaps, so from now on in, the footage captured will be from the spy pen. Now I'm just walking around the house a little bit to test the light capabilities. I'm just going to go up by the window here to see if that's obviously quite bright, and hopefully that will show up well on the camera. If I move with the light behind me, I suspect my head will probably go very dark, and if I move into the kitchen, which still has the camera set up from earlier, you can see that there, we'll see how the white balance changes on the camera too. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this back in my top pocket, which I've realised is not something which people actually do anymore, so it might be very obvious that I've got a pen which has a camera in it in my pockets, because nobody puts pens in their top pocket anymore. But on the basis that I normally have a pocket square, hopefully that will sort of shroud it a bit. So I'm going to go down the shop, and I'm sure nobody would say anything anyway, but we'll see if anybody notices. I mean, I don't know when the last time you saw a spy wearing a tweed jacket was. I mean, I've never seen Ethan Hunt wearing tweed, but then he didn't live in the Cotswolds. So let's just go down the shops and see what happens. Oh, get out of the way, man! What are you doing, you fool?
Yeah, going to sell all the tents and stuff.
Big Kinder eggs. Are you open?
Yeah,
oh, right, sorry.
Just trying to get the receipt.
Oh.
They're all going on the floor. Don't fall over that, Millie.
Could I grab a bag, please? Thank you. Thanks very much.
69, please.
That's great, thank you. Thanks very much. Cheers.
There's a lot to be learned. So
Okay, chaps, so there you have it. I think my little covert operation down to the kelp was a success. Nobody spotted my micro camera spy pen thing. I don't know that anyone would mention it anyway, but I certainly don't think it had the same effect as if you were carrying your smartphone around and just filming it. I mean, obviously that's very obvious and people would stare. So on the basis that nobody in my footage was sort of looking at me as if to say, why are you filming, is testament to the fact that nobody knew I was filming, which is very good. And on that topic, I just draw your attention to something that is written on the back of the user manual here, and it does say, warning, application. I'm not sure what it means by application, but it says here, please strictly abide relevant regulations and laws. This product should not be used for any illegal purposes. The user is fully responsible for its use. And yes, I guess you could probably use this for lots of illegal things. I can't possibly imagine what they might be. Says a man who works in the media industry. But yeah, no, this is very good. And I mean, the lens is absolutely minute. I'd say it was sort of only just bigger than the pin, the point of a pin, a drawing pin. I mean, in terms of the head of a drawing pin, it's probably about, you know, a quarter of the size of that. I mean, it's if that, it's absolutely minute. And from this distance, you can't see it. So, you know, there we are. So yes, it has an 8GB card built in, and as I said, the footage is actually 720, so it doesn't take long for you to fill that up. And there's no way of you formatting the card from the pen itself, so you have to unscrew the pen, plug it into the computer, get the files off that you need, and then delete everything else. And that way, you free up space. So that's good. And you know, I've just, from filming these few things here for this particular video, I've only actually got about a gig of space left. In fact, the sort of 7 or 8 minutes, in fact, probably 10 minutes that I filmed in the supermarket, that was, you know, well over a gigabyte's worth of footage. So, you know, that is clearly 720p. Now, I think one of the key things to remember from a technique point of view is that this camera isn't going to film what you're looking at. Now, I know that sounds like an obvious thing to say, but just in the first clip where I was in the car, I had the spy pen slightly off center of my jacket pocket to the left, and that meant that it was filming almost directly 45 degrees on from my center point. And just by moving it over 2 or 3 millimeters within the pocket in the second clip where I'm walking around the supermarket, it was filming what was directly in front of me. So it's worth noting that a small change this end will make a massive difference to what the camera sees out in front of it. And you know, the field of vision is quite wide, but it's not overly wide. It's not sort of you know, 180 degrees. So you're going to have to be very careful with where you put it, depending on what it is that you want to film. Certainly, it can be very handy, and for the sake of 30 quid, you know, that's very good. So I'm off to run around the house pretending to be. I mentioned Ethan Hunt. I mentioned James Bond. Any other spies? Napoleon Solo. He was a spy, wasn't he? Or was it Ilya Kuria?
I say.
Ilya Kuryakin. The Russian one.